Salutations, my fellow dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Last time we more or less got our bearings, got our sword, our shield, and made our way through the mysterious forest. Now we have the key to the first dungeon, but I think we're gonna take a slight detour. This is our first time in the main town of the game, Mabe Village, and I think it's only fitting that we actually get to know the people in this town and see what we can uncover. First off, we got the little shop here. You can get a whole bunch of items. Really neat. Um, yeah. You notice that there is a piece of heart and a shovel for 200 rupees. We're gonna be coming back for those later. The shovel is more of a necessity than anything else, while the heart piece is gonna be optional. And now we also got this seashell. Seashells are gonna have a purpose later. I'll get into what those do when we get to that point. But you might have also noticed that there was a shield inside the item shop too. Just like in Link to the Past, you can actually lose your shield to certain enemies, as we'll be exploring as we're exploring Koholint Island more. We'll actually be able to encounter those enemies. And now we got a little minigame. This is a little bizarre, a crane minigame of all things. And unlike the Game Boy Color version, or just the Game Boy version, whichever one you actually played, this one has actual like crane physics. Whereas like in the Game Boy version, all you had to do is time when you would drop the crane down. Like you can move the crane like up and right. I believe it's X to go up and A to go right. And once you press both buttons, the crane will automatically go down. It worked the same in the Game Boy version, but was more of a matter of timing. With this one, it's kind of more like a traditional crane game. So if not only are you not it's not a matter of timing because it's more of a matter of placement. If the crane doesn't go down in the right spot for when you're trying to pick up the treasure, you can actually drop the treasure and you're gonna have to go back for it again. Thankfully, I did this in one shot, so that's cool. Not on top of the fact that in the original Game Boy version, it was on a conveyor belt, so that's why timing was more of a necessity in that. This one is just a matter of where the crane is in relation to the object you're trying to get. We got ourselves another piece of heart and a Yoshi doll. The Yoshi doll is the start of a trading sequence, which this is the first game to do such a thing, whereas Ocarina of Time really expands upon it. But the trading sequence, simply how it works, you get an item, you trade it to someone, they'll give you an item in exchange. And the idea is to continuously do this until we get to our final reward at the end of the trading sequence. You can sort of relate this to my LP you can relate this to my LP of Paper Mario, where we had a sequence of delivering letters to people over and over again. And then we eventually got a really nice badge out of it. It was poorly timed, but we still got something neat out of it. This game essentially does the same thing. And as you notice, I failed to get the seashell because the claw wasn't placed in the right position. Because as you just saw, the object could fall out and you would have to be forced to try again. And I guess another thing I should mention is that thing we just got. I think it's called Chow Chow, which is sort of a pun because it's essentially like a little figurine of a dog, Chow Chow, dog chow, something like that. But as you explore the village, like you go into the houses and stuff, you might notice these little pedestals, these little stands, which would most likely fit a trophy or something. If I had one! But you get all these figurines, and you can place them out throughout. You can place them throughout the Mabe Village. Um, I believe there's an elephant village where you could do this, but I'm not entirely sure. These figurines were introduced in the remake. This is Uriah. I think I pronounced it correctly. If you ever get lost in the game, like if you're not sure exactly where to go, you go to one of these little telephone houses, which are scattered throughout the entire island. Oh yeah, by the way, this is Uriah. Apparently he's super shy, which is why he won't speak to you in person, and he also looks like Santa Claus for some reason. But yeah, in case you ever do get lost, you visit one of these booths around the island, and he'll give you an idea as to where you should be going. He doesn't give you an idea as to which direction to go exactly to get to said destination, but he at least gives you something. And now that we have that Yoshi doll, we're gonna give it to this woman here, because when you get the Yoshi doll, you might have noticed that kid that was commenting on it, hinting at to give it to the mother. Once you do this, you'll get a little ribbon. And what are we going to do with this ribbon, you might be wondering? Well, we're going to pay a visit to Bow Wow's house. But real quick, let's speak to Marin. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And you can tell it's actual singing compared to the Game Boy version, which was just a bunch of beeps and boops with that track. Among other beeps and boops throughout the game, throughout that handheld's lifespan. But anyways, we bring the ribbon to Chow Chow, this little thing that we just got a figurine of, and we get dog food. I wonder what we're going to do with that. It's actually quite weird what we do with it. But before we actually deliver this, the can of dog food, we're going to go in this house, and we can actually place the figurine here. Neat. And next our next destination is the library. The library is basically your voluntary tutorial. If this is your first time playing Link's Awakening, like whether it's the Game Boy version or the Switch version, you can come here and it'll basically teach you the basic mechanics behind the game. Like with this one, it teaches you how to do the spin attack. One teaches you how to use equip items. Another one teaches you how to use the map, all that. However, this book we can't read for some reason. We're apparently going to need a magnifying glass. And there's also a book on the top of the shelf. So we're not going to be able to get that right away. Now if we go down here back to the Torombo Shores, we actually didn't explore the right side of the area where this house is. So if we actually go into the said house... Oh my gosh, there's an alligator. A talking alligator to boot. This is where we bring the dog food. Because apparently alligators like dog food? I don't get it. And apparently it's so good that he even ate the can. Oh, but that's fine. He's satisfied, so he'll give us bananas. So cool. Now we can access the well, okay, not exactly. The bananas is going to be the last item we get for the trading sequence for a little while. because since the game hasn't opened up to us like fully. Well, I mean, obviously, it's going to open up over time. Unlike Link to the Past, where a good chunk of it was open to you, it was just a matter of you not being able to do much. With this game, however, it slowly opens up as you acquire more abilities and items in order to explore the island more. So I find that a little neat change of pace. Oh, for some reason, the chickens don't attack you in this game. Those foxes do when you swing your sword at them, but I don't know. I always found that odd. Now, our last destination for this part, because this is the last collection of things we need to do, it's time to go fishing. Now, I had a miserable time doing this during the test LP because, like an idiot, I sort of skimmed through that dialogue where he tells you to rapidly press the A button. And I was just having a miserable time. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to rapidly press that A button to reel the fish in. And when it starts swimming away, you want to either let go or just very slowly press that A button. Otherwise, you're going to struggle too much and the fish is going to get away. And for getting our first catch, we get a heart piece. Neat. Alright, now it's time to get our next thing. We're actually going to go for that green fish. You might have noticed there's a bottle at the bottom down there too. In the Game Boy version, assuming you're playing it, you might have noticed that fish, like, very close to Link. That fish would give you a heart piece. That's the only one that gives you a heart piece, because something else that this remake does, it provides more heart pieces to get for the player, because I believe the maximum amount of hearts you could have in the Game Boy version, Game Boy Color version, whatever, I believe it was 14. In this one, it's 20. They added significantly more heart pieces. To accommodate for the fact that it is a remake. I believe the enemies in the later parts of the game do a little more damage to accommodate for all that health, but I'm not too sure on that. This fish is giving me a hard time, but we got it. And not only did we get a lunker, which gives you a good, decent payout, since it's your first lunker, we got a medium lure and another piece of heart. Now there's one more thing we're going to want to get here, and that is that bottle that's located at the bottom of the pond. So let's try and do that. We're also going to switch to our medium lure for aesthetic. I believe it does make it easier to get those those larger fish. There's no real reason to go for to play this minigame to grind for rupees, because the payout isn't big enough to warrant revisiting it. And if you obviously fail it, that's 10 rupees out of your wallet. Alright, so now we're gonna get this bottle up here. Now the problem with getting this empty bottle is that if you're not careful, those fish can actually actively attack the fishing lure and knock the bottle down, costing you some rupees. Because as you're going to see here, once you fail that, that's all. You can't just simply throw it in. It's considered a failure. Thankfully, I do get it on this attempt, but now, it's funny, like, if you were to consult, like, a walkthrough or something, a guide would consult you, would like, motivate you in order to, catching the other fish before going to the bottle. Unfortunately, that doesn't really matter, because, like, that fish right there, this one that specifically attacked, the fishing lure, if I were to catch that fish, just to get it out of the way so getting the bottle is easier, another fish would respawn shortly afterwards. So it kind of doesn't matter. Alright, now with the bottles, just like in Link to the Past, you can put some sort of potion in it or a fairy, and you can restore health that way. However, This remake is sort of playing off of the original in this sense, where yes, you can you can put fairies in these bottles, where in the original you could not. However, it does not immediately revive you after being knocked out, so you have to keep that in mind. If you're low on health, make sure to have that bottle at the ready because that fairy is not going to revive you if you get knocked out. There is a way to get to revive yourself in this game, but we'll be getting to that at a later point. But now that we managed to explore Mabe Village, got ourselves some seashells, secret seashells, some heart pieces, started our trading sequence. I think it's safe to say we can call it a part. So next time on The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, we're going to be entering the first of the many dungeons in this game, the Tail Cave. So until then, I got a juice.